is not a gumball machine, it's a Dodge Durango.
Is this a gumball machine? No, it's a Dodge Durango.
And not just any Dodge Durango, this one is the SRT, which actually makes it kind of special. Gather around, kids, and don't forget your textbooks because it's time to talk history on the Dodge Durango. Now, the Durango was first introduced in 1998, and back then it was actually kind of like a truck. It was body on frame, it had a solid rear axle, and it stayed that way all the way until production briefly ended in 2009. Then in 2010, Dodge came out with this design, which is more of a car than it is a truck. You see, it moved away from its body on frame construction, and it now has independent suspension at all four corners. But unlike a lot of its competition in the large three-row SUV segment, the Dodge Durango actually refuses to be boring. You see, it's one of the few cars in this segment that's still rear-wheel drive biased. Although this one is all-wheel drive, the base models still come with rear-wheel drive. You might have a hard time telling it apart from the regular old Durango RT. So today, I'm going to take you through all the different things that make it good, bad, and weird, and then I'm going to give it a rating of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. Let's start up front here with the grille and the front fascia because, frankly, this front end is pretty similar to the GT Rally and the RT trim on the Dodge Durango. Now, it's exactly the same as the RT with this hood. The GT Rally has a slightly different hood, but what's interesting is that these ones ditch the crosshair grille style for this big, wide, black grille and this fancy hood. What makes this hood so fancy is that it actually has functional heat extractors and it's not a hood scoop, it's a center air inlet duct. Get it right. But regardless, they actually are functional and they help provide cooling for the engine. Look, you can see through it. While the hood scoop, the cold air inlet duct is functional, the cold air intake is actually down here where the radiator belongs. Taking a look down here by the wheels gives us two more easy ways to identify an SRT Durango from all the other ones. The first thing are these giant 20-inch black painted alloy rims, and right underneath them are 6-piston red painted Brembo calipers. Now in the back there's 4 pistons, and the Durango SRT is the only trim that gets the red painted ones. However, because the Durango is massively heavy, you actually end up generating a ton of brake dust. Let me show you what I mean. If this were not the SRT Durango, you'd be missing this awesome 392 badge, which is of course a reference to the engine because this one, well, let's take a look under the hood. There it is, 392 cubic inches of hemispherical goodness. It's a 6.4 liter V8 that makes 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. Now this Dodge Durango SRT sends that power to all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission. 475 horsepower going to all 4 wheels makes this Durango a monster, frankly. It does 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds down at sea level where the air is thick and rich with oxygen. Up here we've tested it and it does about 5.9, which is pretty close to what you'd expect to see. Unfortunately, this all means that it gets pretty terrible gas mileage, 13 in the city, 19 on the highway for a combined rating of just 15 mpg. That might not sound that bad for a 6.4 liter Hemi V8, but by comparison, the Chevy Tahoe RST with a 6.2 liter V8 weighs 300 pounds more and still gets 22 mpg on the highway, and the Ford Expedition weighs about 500 pounds more and gets 24 mpg on the highway. Coming around here to the back, we can see a few more things that help let you know that this is in fact an SRT Durango. And the first one is this SRT badge right here. Now over on that side it has a little 4 to let you know that it is all-wheel drive. And then we get down here to the bumper. On the Durango SRT, it's painted body color with these black accents, and our model actually has the $1,800 optional Mopar exhaust that comes with 4-inch chrome exhaust tips, which is exactly why I brought this tape measure to show you that they're 4 inches. See? 4 inches. Our Durango SRT has the towing package, which gives you actually best-in-class tow rating of 8,700 pounds, but I did want to show you that this is how you access the towing hitch. Boop, there you go. Of course, you get your classic 7-pin connector and a 4-pin connector. The other pretty obvious thing you're going to notice right away about this SRT's exterior is that, well, this one has the $1,100 optional racing stripes, which Andre claims he can do for much cheaper than $1,100. and these ones are just stickers, but some of you may like it, some of you may hate it. It's an option, you can pick it if you want. Plenty of stuff to talk about here on the inside as well, but the first thing that your eyes are drawn to immediately are these seats, which are colored in, kid you not, demonic red Laguna leather. Plus they're heated and ventilated in the front, and even the second row is heated. The next thing you notice, especially if you're driving the Durango SRT, is the steering wheel. It's the SRT steering wheel, so it's big, beefy, chunky, features a flat bottom, and it has paddles. Next point of interest here on the inside of the Durango is this touchscreen. It's an 8.4-inch Uconnect system that is found in a lot of FCA products, but this one is particularly nice and it has a lot of cool features that interact specifically with the Durango SRT. Cool thing about Uconnect, you can customize it a little bit. So I'll go here into the apps page to find something that I want to put down on my home bar, and that's this. It's the performance pages. I'll get rid of my phone because who needs that? So once you're here in the performance pages, there's a bunch of different things you can select. You have this home page that you can customize with 4 different little gauges. You have timers, which include 0 to 60, quarter mile times, things of that sort. Different gauges that show off oil temperatures, pressures, coolant temperatures, all sorts of engine information. You have your G-force meter that tells you how many G's you're pulling, and you have engine stats, so oil pressure, torque, power, what gear you're in, and then finally an engine dyno that shows how much power and torque you're making. All right, the next important thing to talk about here in the center stack is this SRT button, because that's where all the fun happens, and it lets you pick through all the car's different drive modes. So as you can see up here at the top, there's actually, well, 7 different drive modes to pick from. There's track, sport, custom, which lets you pick your own settings, snow, which adjusts traction control for the snow, towing mode, and then down here there's actually 2 more modes. There's valet mode or eco mode, which is pretty much useless because regardless of what you try, you're going to get less than 19 miles per gallon. One other vital button down here is the launch button, because the Durango SRT has a launch mode. So you press this little button, you're told to apply the brake heavily, and then you apply full throttle, which will build the revs, and then when you're ready, you let go of the brake and shoot off into the sunset at unbelievable speed for something this large. Dr. Dre ran the rap game, but now he's running the car stereo game. Let's hear a fat beat. To amplify the feeling of performance here in the Durango SRT, Dodge has given it, well, an Alcantara headliner. A few more things to point out in the back seat here. First thing you notice when you hop in is this center console type deal, or at least it kind of feels like there should be a center console here. Instead you get this molded plastic with some cup holders and a little dish, and that's because Dodge actually has a $500 optional rear center console, but I don't think you need that. It just adds weight, and frankly this is something that's meant for performance, although it's already really heavy, so I don't know what difference it's going to make, but it's $500 and I don't think you need it. Down here by your feetsies in the back of the front center console, you get a bunch of different things. 115 volt outlet, which is pretty cool, a couple of USB ports, some vents, and of course your heated seat controls. But to control the temperature of the back seats, you actually have to go up there. In a very minivan-esque style, the Durango SRT actually has its rear seat HVAC controls up in the headliner. Here's a weird little detail. The airbag logo on the dashboard is like really nice. Fancy. Ooh, red pull tabs. They fold the back seats. Remember how I said that you should save the $500 from the center console? Well, there's another good reason that you need to keep all those extra schmeckles. It's because of these tires. They're 295 section and they're at all 4 corners, and I can tell you that they're certainly not cheap. Plus, because of the size and weight of the Durango SRT, you're gonna chew through these things really fast. This vehicle only has, well, a little over 7,700 miles on it, and it's already looking like these tires are getting, well, a little close to done. The Dodge Durango is in a special class of SUVs that has 3 rows of seating. But what's interesting, hold on. Well, there's a couple things actually. Number one, my whole 6'2" self actually fits in this 3rd row pretty well, but Dodge has actually given us the option, a no-cost option, of what they call the lightweight package, which really just gets rid of the back seats. I want to show you the Durango's spare tire because it's a little comical, but to get there, you have to open up this little cubby, and then you have to grab this little rubber piece that comes out of here, and then you have to pull off this little plastic thing with a tire on it, and once you do that, you can access this little thing that helps you unscrew the spare tire. After all that work to get access to the thing that lets you unscrew the spare tire, you look underneath and find, well, you're not packing as big of a spare as the rest of your tires. I'll now put my life on the line because the Dodge Durango gives you exactly 4 beeps of warning while the tailgate's closing. Okay, so it won't kill you, but it does give you 4 beeps. Look, this bumper protector has hexagons on it because, well, squares would be way too lame. Look, more hexagons. And more hexagons. Little hexagons. And look, more, oh, they're diamonds. All right, I need to fix something. This whole video, I've been calling the Durango SRT a car. But I have my reason for that. Like I said, it's a unibody construction, not body on frame like a real truck, and it has fully independent suspension, no solid axles. Also unlike a truck. But according to our government, or more specifically the EPA, because of the Durango SRT's weight, its height off of the ground, and its towing capacity, it is a truck. So you make up your own mind, but I'm gonna keep calling it a car. Time for a rousing game of Count the Badges, and we're gonna count how many SRT logos you can find on this Dodge Durango. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. 21 SRT badges on this Dodge Durango. Okay, so I lied. 21 isn't actually the real number. If you count the key, there's 22, and if you count the keychain, there's 23. Jordan. You'll be wondering how it drives at this point. Its 5,500 pound curb weight is noticeable, but the Bilstein adaptive dampers do a good job of covering that up, keeping body roll to a relatively small amount. If anything, the ride's a little on the stiff side, even in comfort mode. One thing's for sure, the Durango SRT is insanely fast, and anyone who drives it will have a hard time keeping a straight face. The noise and the power are intoxicating. To see how it tows, check out our Ike Gauntlet video by clicking the link in the corner of the screen. Well, there you have all the good, bad, and weird things about the Dodge Durango SRT. Now, what am I gonna rate it? Well, I'm gonna give it a rating of lease it. I say lease it and not buy it because this one is almost $72,000. All that said, I think it's an awesome car. It's really, really fun to drive. You can blow out most anything you find at a stoplight. You're gonna get terrible gas mileage, but it sounds so good that you just don't care. For the Fast Lane Car, I'm Mike Curtis. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to come back to TFLcar.com for more news, views, and real world, good, bad, weird reviews just like this one.